Hello, everybody. My name is Rabbi Yosef, Chaim, Schwab from Muncie, New York. Welcome to Hidabruk Worldwide. Let us now talk a little bit about the upcoming Yontif, Pesach. What is Pesach? When did it start and why is it called Pesach? What does it mean? What do we do on Pesach? We have a Seder. We eat matzah. We drink the 4 cups of wine. And we tell the story how we got out of Egypt, Mitzrayim, from a bunch of slaves, 5 million slaves, to a free nation on this night of Pesach, 3,300 years ago. 33 centuries, 3 millennia, and we're still talking about it. Haggadah means talk about it. So in Pesach, Passover, it means pass over. He passed over the Jewish people. He let the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death, pass over, not to strike Bnei Yisrael. The Seder talks about the order. Seder means order. How exactly did it happen? Where did we come from? Where did it start? What makes us, the Jewish people, the Am HaNitzchi, the eternal nation that survives everything? We've been around since Avraham Avinu. He was born in 1948, and now it's 5776. That's 3,300 years ago. How did we survive? We talk about that one night a year, on Seder night, the 15th day of Nisan. Haggadah means to tell. There is 2 positive commandments we have on this night. Tell the story and eat the matzah. What is this all about? Let us have a conversation. Hidabrut means conversation. The Seder is an order. It's an annual international Holocaust survival reunion meeting every year, one day a year. AIHSRM. Annual international Holocaust survivors. We all survived 3,300 years they wanted to get rid of us. Annual International Holocaust Survivors Reunion Meeting. That's the Seder. It's in an order. We tell this story. That is one of the positive commandments. And we eat the matzah. That's the second of the 2 positive commandments we have that night. Only that night. The second night, it's also very important. It's only rabbinical. The Rabbanan. In Israel, they only have 1. We have 2 nights. All Yom Tovim, we have 2 in the beginning and 2 at the end. They have 1 in the beginning, 1 at the end. We need another injection because we're so far away from the Holy Land. Let's start. We tell this story, how we got out of Egypt. We were slaves for 210 years. Yosef was sold by his brothers. And he was in jail for 10 years because he spoke bad, lashon hara, against his 10 brothers, and 2 more years, together 12, because he asked one of the prisoners in jail who was getting out early to remember him to Pharaoh, and don't forget me. So he said, remember me, don't forget me. So Hashem punished him for 2 more years because he was put in jail illegally. He was sold by his brothers who didn't like him. And he spent 2 years, 12 years. And after 12 years, this slave, sold as a slave by his brothers, this slave became the king of Egypt. Pharaoh says, you run the country, I'll just supervise you. He was the prime minister of the country. Yosef HaTzadik, the righteous one, the one that was hated by his brother, became the king of Egypt for 80 years. Of course, his brothers came down because there was years of hunger, and there was good years, 7 good years, 2 of the 7 bad years, And he was sold at 17, and after 12 years he was 29, 30, and then he was the king at 30. After 7 good years and 2 of the 7 bad years, he was 39. That's when his brothers met him. He was 40 years old. He became the king of Egypt. A Jew became the king of Egypt. That is a nace, a miracle. Do you know that he started our residence in Mitzrayim? That's a nace, that a Jew should be a king of a Gentile country. It happened again. Mordechai and Esther in Persia. When AIHSRM died, he became the king and she became the queen of a Gentile country, Persia. Our life is Nisim. The last 3,300 years, how we survived is a nace. Yosef lived 110 years. Nace is 110. And he wore a special garment his father made for him, kasonet pasim, a robe woven. Pasim. Pei is 80. Sim is 110. 80 of his 110 years, he was the king of Egypt. That's not a nace. Nace is a miracle. Now at the Seder, we talk about the Nisim, how he got out of Egypt. One night, the 15th day of Nisan, in the year 2448, which is 3,300 years ago, Hashem came, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the creator of the universe, the Borei Olam, came and said, enough, 210 years, out of here. He brought 10 plagues to Pharaoh. 9 of them Moshe did, and the 10th Hashem did, and broke Pharaoh's back. He didn't let them out for the first 9. The 10th one was the smiting of the firstborn. Pharaoh was the firstborn. He was the only one that survived. They considered themselves the firstborn nation. God struck all their firstborn. They are not the firstborn of nations. They were the most depraved nation. Mitzrayim was most advanced technologically. They built pyramids. They were the most depraved. That's what happens to a country when it's so advanced technologically, it loses its morals. They were the lowest. And these horde of slaves, men and women and children, was about 5 million. They became the free people. And Mitzrayim became punished. We got out of Mitzrayim on the 15th day of Nisan. Therefore, we eat matzah. Why? Unleavened bread. Why? When you get out of Mitzrayim, that's a nace. Something interfered with the natural order. You're a slave forever. What made this horde of this avadim, these slaves, into Am Chafshi, a free nation? What caused their cherus, their freedom? What is the difference between freedom and Chafshi? Freedom is cherus. Chafshi is liberty. What's the difference? Tremendous difference. Cherus means I'm not in jail. Mitzrayim was a concentration camp. No one ever escaped. Here, 5 million people go out on one night, the 15th day of Nisan in the year 2448, 3,300 years ago. They walk out, no one stops them. What is cherus, freedom, and what is liberty? I can get out of jail, I'm free. But now I have another higher level called liberty, chavshi. I can go to this store or that store, this college, that college, this movie, that movie. I can do anything I want, anytime, go to Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Georgia. I have liberty. Yetzias Mitzrayim was the first step. Cherus, freedom. You're not a slave. That was a hachana, a preparation for the real purpose of the Exodus. That was 7 weeks preparation till we came. Mitzrayim was Cherus, and now we get to Shavuos, Pentecost, they call it in English. When the Penta, the 5 books of Moshe, was given. Shavuos, weeks, 7 weeks. Sheva, 7, Shavuos, 7 weeks. That's when we had already had Cherus. Now we're getting Chavshi, free choice. Will you or will you not accept the Torah? Up to you. The physical freedom of the Jewish people from Mitzrayim, the Cherus, was for just not to make what free. Now what? Now what? Who? Do you thank anybody? Do you thank the Borei Olam, the creator of the universe, who made you free? You mean you're just free, thank you, have a good life? Is that how it works? Or is it 7 weeks of Sphira, counting the Omer, 49 days, 7 times 7. And on the 50th day, we have Shavuos, the holiday of 7 weeks after Pesach. It's called Shavuos, when the Torah was given. The 10 Commandments. The Torah has 613 laws. 613 equals 10. The Torah is condensed into 10 commandments. And the 10, if you take away the 0, is 1. Given by the Creator, who took us out of Mitzrayim. So we give thanks to Hashem. Now this matzah, you know how you make chametz? You know the difference between matzah and chametz? Chametz is flour and water, and it rises 2-3 hours, and then you bake it in the oven. Everything is normal, natural, teva. That's nature. You know what matzah is? Matzah is you take flour and water, and you knead it. Don't let it rest for 1 second. No fermentation allowed. Then you roll it with sticks, and you roll it. Don't stop for 1 second, and you make holes in it, thousands of holes. And then the baker comes, he puts it on this big stick, and you put it in the oven. That's 1,200 degrees, and in 13 seconds, it's matzah. Interference with nature. That is what matzah is. That's how we got out of Egypt. Interference with nature is called the nes, a miracle. Otherwise, it would be, like it says in the Haggadah, you would be slaves to your children and children forever and forever and forever and forever. Unless some interference with the teva, not chametz that rises by itself. Matzah, you kill the nature, you suppress nature, and a miracle happens as you came out of its time. 5 million people. I know, 600,000 men between 20 and 60. What about 19-year-old? 18, 17, 16, and 61, 62, 71, 81, 91. Women are not involved. Shevet Levi, 22,000 not counted. Each one had at least one wife. Every woman had at least 6 children per birth. It's a minimum of 5 million people from 70 people that Yaakov brought down, Jacob, 210 years before. 5 million people walked out without opposition from the most powerful country on earth. That's not an ace. Our existence is an ace. So when I said in the beginning, every year it's an annual International Holocaust Survivors Reunion meeting. Yes, we went through Holocaust. Mitzrayim, and the attack in the desert by Amalek, and Canaan in the land of Canaan, Eretz Yisrael. They wanted to kill us for 6-7 years. We got rid of them. We took over the country. Then came the Babylonians, destroyed the first temple. Then came the Greeks. We got rid of them. Purim, the holiday. Then came the Romans, the unholy Roman Empire. Then Spain, 1492. We survived the Holocaust, and the last one 70 years ago. 3 years after he wanted to destroy the Jewish people, they made a state. 3 years, after 2,000 years. That's not an ace. Any thinking person will understand this immediately. So Pesach means to skip over. The Malach HaMoed, because the Jews were on the 49th level of assimilation. One more, they would have been done. So the famous Rabbi Avigdor Miller said, you compare Jews to the Ummas Ha'olam, to the nations of the world. When we were on the 49th level of Tumah, of unholiness, it was still 1,000 degrees higher than their highest. How do you know this? Because we come from Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. When you have a thermometer to test your temperature, if you're healthy, 98.6. Another thermometer you put in the steak, you want to see if it's ready, it's 270 degrees. Different standards for different things. We were on the 49th level, but we come from Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And Hashem took us out in order to give us the Torah 7 weeks later. Mitzrayim, Exodus, Yetzias Mitzrayim is called Chayrus, freedom. We became Am HaNivchar, the chosen nation. Am HaNitzchi, the eternal nation. Am Olam, that one exists forever. 3,300 years old. Is there any nation in the world that lasts 3,300? And we still, after 2,000 years, after the last temple was destroyed in the year 70, and 1970 was 1,900 years, that was 45 years ago, about 1900, and 80 years ago, we have our own country now. That's just natural? No, it's not. It's matzah. Interfere with nature, and an outside force called a nes, a miracle, will create a new entity called the Jewish people. We're still here. Haggadah means talk about it. We're still talking about it. For 30, we get out of Mitzrayim, 24:48, the destruction was hundreds of years later. We're still talking about it. Pesach, the mouth, Pesach talks about it. That's the mitzvah of Seder night. To eat the matzah, absorb this idea about you live al pi nes. Jewish people, the only nation live, they survived everything. And Pesach, talk about it. Haggadah is a mitzvah. Haggadah is a mitzvah. The Mantisaper, in order to tell your children, mitzvah aleinu lesaper, it's a mitzvah to talk about it. And he who talks more, harei meshubach, he is praiseworthy. Why doesn't it say harei hu meshubach? He is praiseworthy. Why this is crazy? Zeh, me, is 12. 5 and 7 is 12. The Jewish people doing this forever. Every person who's even a little bit Jewish has a Seder night as an annual International Holocaust Survivors reunion meeting once a year. We're a nation that lives unnaturally. That's why you eat matzah. Matzah, you interfere with nature. You have to absorb that in your system. You're a miracle nation. That we have to thank God. So if a person talks about it, Pesach means the mouth speaks. The more you talk, the more you understand how lucky you are. Who wouldn't want to reconnect with this knowledge, with this agenda called Torah that was given 7 weeks later? Who wouldn't want to find out how, what, when, how, where, why? Is everybody against us? Sure, because God spoke only to us, not one person who had some delusion. 5 million people heard the voice. That's enough to think about for this time. Shalom, shalom.